It is 6 o'clock. I realize there's only going to be about 11 people that actually watch this live stream, and that's going to be okay. I'm not having a good time right now. This isn't a bad thing about life. It isn't a bad thing about you guys. It isn't Gen X Talks. It isn't my wife. It isn't my kid. There has been something bothering me for a couple of days, and it's been very, very, very difficult. Let me turn something off here. It's been very difficult for me to get out of my head. I have written some stuff down. I have sweated over this. I've been arguing with people over this, and it's not something that I can search on the internet. I can't go find where other conservative people have discussed these things, where I can listen to their arguments and I can listen to how they go about it, and I can get some solace with how they've answered things. There's nothing out there. The thing that's in my head right now, I'm sure that other people have thought of it. I'm sure that other people have entertained it, but it's eating away at me. There's no comments tonight. Why? Have you ever just had a time when you needed someone to listen to you? When you had something going on, you get to a bar and you call your buddy or someone and say, "Hey, can I meet you for a beer or something? You just need them to listen." It's like that for me. And I know there's not going to be 200 people in here. I know that as I start talking, people are going to go, "Oh, there's no comments. I can't say." No, there's not. There's no comments tonight. I've never done that. In over 2 years of these things, I've never done that to you guys. I've never said there's no comments. No comments, no PayPal, no super chats, no money, no nothing tonight. I just needed to see who would listen. And that's all. And I won't know. I can't tell any names going by because there's no comment section. I can't see the number of people in the room. There could be 12. I can't see the number. I could be talking to nobody. Maybe the only people that are listening are staff. Discord is open. We normally close Discord. It's open. Go talk in Discord. If you guys want to talk amongst yourselves and how's your day and where'd you live and how's your kid's school going, then go to Discord. I just felt like tonight I needed someone to talk to, that I needed someone to listen to what I was saying. And I really wish there was a way to turn on the comments after I was done talking, because it isn't, I do need someone to listen, but I also need someone to say something afterwards. Even if they just say, "Sounds good to me." Even if that's all. So the sooner I get on with this, then the sooner you guys can disown me as your friends or walk away or don't like the topic, whatever. This is not confession time. I haven't done anything wrong and not leaving, not going anywhere. This is something, it's something that's been in the news for a little bit now, and it's weighing on me heavy enough to where I want to say something. And it's in two parts. I will try not to drag this out. However, like a Kevin Costner movie, I can be a little long-winded. I've tried to make some notes so that I don't drag this out forever, messing up the order, but I promise you I'm going to fumble this as we go. Please forgive me. Give me a little bit of latitude. I'm upset even as I'm sitting here. Okay. Over the last few months, we have seen heavily things go on in our elementary school classrooms. Certain groups of people have always been forcing their way into the classrooms and demanding to be heard, demanding to be recognized, on and on. And over the past few weeks, it's been heavy, ludicrous in my opinion. And watching all these things happen, the first thought that came to my mind was, and it doesn't matter what group you're. It doesn't matter if it's the gay pride, if it's LGBTQ, if it's transgender. It doesn't matter. There's no specific one group that's drawn in here. But you kind of have to paint it with a broad brush to get the idea of what I'm talking about. Okay. Why do people take a sexual preference and bring it into an elementary classroom, a third grade classroom, let's say. And I'm just using, and just for the purposes of discussion, let's just say it's a gay pride flag, and they're like, we want our flag planted in this classroom, and it's going to be in the classroom. And I'm like, okay, wait a second, isn't LGBTQ community or transgendered or anybody, isn't that when it comes down to it, isn't it just a sexual preference? Do what you want. I don't care. Be who you want. I don't care. I'm just asking why all of a sudden is it okay just to have a sexual preference be known in a third grade classroom? A little bit young, I feel, for that. And I don't understand how that became a thing. It's like, well, no. This is a movement. This is a way of life. This is a choice. Yeah, so is all the other ones. So everybody's sexual preference is their way of life or part of their way of life. I don't understand why there's we need to tell them that it's okay. We need to tell them, well, yeah, but are you going to do that for everybody? And they say, what do you mean everybody? Well, I'm saying if you're going to go in there and you have gay pride and you say this is my preference and my flag, and these kids need to see this in third grade so they know it's okay that I have a sexual preference. Like, wait, before we get there, aren't you a lot of other things before your sexual preference? I mean, I am. I'm a human first, and then I'm an American, and then I'm a father and a husband, and then I'm say a mechanic. Then I'm a Dodger fan. I'm a lot of things. Then maybe at the very end, I might slide in my sexual preferences, but that's not who I am. That's not who defines me. And there was a time in my lifetime, there was a time in history when you didn't tell people that. It was kind of I don't want to tell people what I'm into. I don't want to know what you're into. I don't, that was kind of a thing. You just kind of keep that. That's a private part of your life. You can do what you want. No one's you've accomplished everything you wanted to. Everybody's equal now, and you get to be who you want. I get to be who I want. That guy gets to be who he wants. We're all good now. And now you want to take it into a third grade classroom and tell everybody. And I don't understand why sexual preference would it be like going in and saying, I just want you guys to know I'm a Dodger fan. Okay, I'm a Dodger fan, and this classroom is going to have a Dodger flag. And I don't care what you say. Kids have a right to know that loving the Dodgers is okay. And you can't tell me different. We're putting a flag in here. Okay, I guess, yeah. And let's bring all the baseball teams in here. Let's represent all the teams. Wouldn't we have to? Are you willing to have I don't even know if there is a heterosexual flag, but if there is, can I go in there as a representative of that community and just start talking about it? Why would I do that? Why would they care? I'm a lot of other things way before that, but if that's where you are, if that's where you come and say, no, I am this, whatever this is, you need to get gay and transgender to don't care, but this is it's basically a sexual preference. That's all it is. It's just a sexual preference to what you like to go and do in the privacy of your own bedroom. You want to bring it out of the bedroom and you want to put it in front of third graders, which I think is fucking weird. Just so you know, I think that's really fucking weird. That you want to present all these things, and the way you're presenting them in the last few weeks in front of third graders is, all right, I'm not going to grab as a heterosexual. I'm not going to come in there and start demonstrating my heterosexuality to third graders in any fashion, even a little bit. I'm not even going to hint at it. I think it's inappropriate. But if you're bound to determine, then I'll go get a heterosexual flag and we'll stand there, and you can get all the rest of the flags that go along, because these are sexual preference things. And you can say, well, it's a way of life, and I get it, but you're still eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner like all of us. You're still going to work and have a job like all of us. All of these things are just, but the thing you're singling out is what you do in the bedroom, and you want to tell everybody about it at a third grade classroom. Is that a fair assessment? What about some of the other ones that are out there? There's necrophilia. You have sex with dead people. That's a real thing that people really do, and I'm sure they could come up with a flag and want to be heard too. You want that preference in front of children? Bestiality, sex with animals? I'm sure somebody's got a flag for that, and they'd want their group represented. Is that okay? I'm just asking now. I'm asking some questions here. I'm telling you, I don't think that I think there's certain things that probably shouldn't be in front of children, small children. And you can't come to me and go, well, now hold on. Did you just compare our group to those group? Those groups are weird. Those groups are lunatics. They're fucking out of their minds. We're normal. Go ahead and try to tell people that. Tell people that your group is normal and their group is weird, because we've all seen how that goes. What I'm saying is that this isn't like a political party. This isn't a, it's like you don't have Republicans and Democrats and then a sexual preference party. That's not what that is. You're not teaching politics. You're bringing what is supposed to be private in your bedroom into the classroom. In my opinion, maybe you've gone a little overboard. You bring it out in the open and say, I'm this and I'm that, and I need to be heard. I need to be counted. I need to be taken seriously. I will not be stoned. I will not be quieted. I will not be silenced. I will have my place in the world. You've got it. You absolutely have it. You got it. Why are we doing this? Well, we have to start early and teaching them that it's okay. You have to teach them sexual preferences in the bedroom early? What? You're losing me. If this is your argument, you're losing me. But that's part of what they say. It's a big deal. So it comes down to, it's a sexual preference. Should it be in the classroom? Now, why is it in the classroom? How did it get there? Part one is my discussion of, it's really just a sexual preference. Perhaps we should keep that shit to yourself when it comes to third graders. I don't think they need to know that. If you're insistent on telling me and telling the world and social media and being on the news and standing on the corner with signs, go ahead. But then I can make sure my kids don't go to that corner. I don't want them. They're little. They're impressionable. They're trying to figure out, if Sally came by and slapped me on the back at recess, if she likes me or not. She hit me in the arm. They're trying to figure out at that level. If you want to do all this stuff everywhere else, I'll just keep my kids away from that. But if you take it to the classroom, I don't have a say-so. Now, that was point number one, is that all these things are going on in the classroom, and I don't understand. It really is just a sexual preference. It's nothing more than that. Why is it there? And if it's going to be there, are we going to bring all of them in? Are you willing to bring all of them in? I'm not. I'm certainly not. If you want to know the truth, in third grade, I don't want mine there. I don't want a third grader going, what is heterosexuality, and explain that to me. I don't want to do that. And I certainly don't want it done in school. You know what? When my kids get to an age where they're fumbling around with that, I'll take care of that at home. I don't need your help. I don't want your help. I don't need it. But that was point number one. I told you I had 2 points, and I want to tell you guys, every time we've talked about stuff like this, I always end up with saying the same thing. I don't have an answer. I'm just asking questions. Not tonight. Tonight, I have an answer. I have a fix. I have a cure for the situation. I have a course correction for every school and every school district and every county and every state. I have a course correction for my country. Now, I made it up on my own, so if it doesn't work, well, we'll know why, because I'm a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert and I don't know shit. But first, I had to get part one. What are we dealing with? Second, how did it get in the classroom? Now, I know there's some teachers that pull it in. They want it in. Even though parents would say no, they're like, it's my classroom. And there's some principals, there's probably a handfuls that they pull it in. All right, I got it. But all of the people that I've spoken to on this matter, all of the principals and vice principals in situations where they're in charge have said they allow it even though they don't want it because they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to get fired. They don't want to get suspended. They don't want the woke movement to come in and say, we were trying to plant our sexual flag in that third grade classroom, and this asshole wouldn't let us. We're going to sue your school system. We're going to sue the principal. We're going to sue you as a teacher, and you're phobic towards whatever this group is, and you can't do this. Well, now hold on. Who do you speak for? These groups. Who do you speak for? Well, we speak for the people, the masses. We're representative of a large community. Are you? Now, I know that's how our system of government works. We often elect people to go in small groups and speak for the larger groups. That way, the larger groups don't have to spend every day going over all the details. We're pretty good at that. We have Congress is made up of people and senators that go there. They represent states and their constituents and people. Got it. Even school boards. What do you get? 7, 8, 12 people on a school board that represent the community of 200,000 or 300,000, let's say, or 100,000, whatever it is. We're often familiar with having smaller groups represent the bigger groups. We've done it for a long time. Did anyone elect you to come into my school with this particular agenda? No? So how are you doing it? I've still around a lot of schools. I don't see groups every day just showing up. I don't see Second Amendment groups going, I'm going to come in here and show guns today because I can, because I'm a group and I represent everybody. They don't do that. How are you getting in? How are you getting in to the classroom with sexual preference? There's not even Republicans and Democrats that kick in the door and go, I'm a Democrat and you're going to listen to what I say about the Democratic Party because it needs to be heard. And I'm going to start teaching you at a young age, Democrat, 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 to all the third graders. Don't try to stop me. It needs to be heard. I don't see them doing that. No one told them they could. No one elected them as the leader of the small groups and go, no one did that. But you can sure come in with fear and intimidation. You can sure come in with, you better not say no. And now if you had 10,000 principals, you might get them all to band together and say no, but you're not going to get one to say no. If these groups come in, they'll pick off a vice principal, a principal, and a teacher. Easy. Say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We have the right to do it. We have the right to be heard. And we're going to come in here, and if you oppose us, you're going to be gone. They can do that to school boards, too. They can intimidate school boards. They can intimidate anybody with lawsuits that you're trying to marginalize some group, this fictitious made-up group, whoever we're talking about. But they do that. They walk in and say, if you don't let me have my way, there will be hell to pay. And I'm going to bring down the rain on you like you've never seen. Fuck it. Okay, just go do it. Go talk to the third graders. Jesus Christ, not worth losing my job over. Or is it? I don't think that any group with sexual preference should matter in a third grade classroom. I don't think mine should. I don't think yours should. I don't think theirs should or theirs. It should all be left out. And you certainly shouldn't be able to do it with intimidation and fear. But I guarantee that's what's happening. I've asked. They've said that's what's happening. How about you sign a thing saying you're never going to sue anybody if they don't let you into a classroom? I bet you get told no a lot more often if there's no fear of losing your job. That's part number 2. And part number 2 is how are they getting in there? How are they staying there? How did this come to pass? I don't understand how these movements to be recognized, which they are, these movements to have their place in society, which they deserve, these movements in these groups which demand to have us step aside so they can stand shoulder to shoulder with the rest of us, and they do, and it's right. How did they get to there and go, okay, we're here, and now we're going to take the rest of our agenda into classrooms? Whoa. Aren't we all the same? Aren't we all shoulder to shoulder? Aren't we all accepting? I mean, some wear dresses and some wear pants and some have blue hair and some have orange hair and some are baseball fans and some are hockey fans. But aren't we all the same? Well, we are, except our group has this particular sexual preference and theirs over there has their particular sex. And we are going to go a little further. Whoa, 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 whoa. I was okay with equality. I'm not okay with indoctrination. I'm not okay with you tricking kids under the heading of we're just educating them. We're giving them the opportunity to learn. We're letting them know it's okay. There's lots of things that are okay. There's lots of things that are not okay. You can't just pick and then you decide and then you're telling my kids. I'm not okay with what they're doing, and I'm not okay with how they're getting there into the schools. I don't like any of it. But I have a fix. It's true. I do. I have a way to fix this. It can't ever happen. I'm going to go on record. It can't ever happen because it exposes the problem. It exposes the overreach, the intimidation of certain groups that are doing this. And it's simple. And it fixes everything all at once. It's a little tedious. It's a little time consuming. But I think it would absolutely set the record straight once and for all. You ready? Guess I better hydrate. Don't have Trippy in the sheets tonight yelling at me, hydrate. I think decisions like this should be voted on by the public. Now, that's an easy one to pick apart. Oh, you can't bring the public has to work and they've got families to raise and they've got houses to keep. You can't, they got vacations to go on. They're driving across town to go to work and groceries. You can't have them stop and vote on everything. Just ridiculous. That's why we have people in charge. Yeah, I think we're going to have to change that a little bit. Just a little bit. And here's what I mean. I would say simply, okay, no more you guys going into classrooms at all. You're not allowed to anymore. I'm not allowed to anymore. Second Amendment people aren't allowed to. Jehovah's Witnesses aren't allowed to. Nobody's going into classrooms anymore. Now, if any group anywhere wants to go into a classroom, they have to put it to a vote, maybe of the Parent-Teacher Association, maybe of a school district, the people that are registered voters in that school district. Let's just say. You have to make your case. You have to say, all right, I'm going to go into this classroom and I'm going to teach children about my sexual preference, and here's why. I'm going to teach them about it. I'm going to show them about it. I want permission to go into a third grade class and explain this one narrow aspect of who I am. Because you're still an American, you're still a human being, you're I don't know what you do for a living, you're the receptionist, or you're a mechanic, or you're a bricklayer, and you say, I'm all these things, and I'm also a San Francisco Giants fan, and I also drive a Toyota, and but I'm not talking about any of those things about me as a person. I'm just going to talk about what I do in the bedroom, and I'm going to talk to it to third graders and let them know what I do in the bedroom is okay, and it's okay if they want to do it. Whatever it is. Whatever you want to tell them. You're going to have to make that case to the public, to the county. Let's just say it was a county. And so the county says, all right, we're going to have a vote on Saturday, and you make your case. People will make opposing arguments going against you, of course, and you leave it up to the people. But you have to make your case. You can't just come in and say, let me go say all this shit about what I do in the bedroom, what my choice is, or I'm going to sue you. You're going to lose your job. Yeah. Got it? Okay, good. Move. Give me the keys. Move aside. Open the door. Let's get in there. That part's over. Now you have to have a legitimate reason, legitimate cause, and you have to convince parents. I don't think in a county of, 200,000 people, you're going to be able to convince a majority. Personally, I don't think you could convince a majority of the parents of the classrooms you've already been in. I think there's a classroom of 33 third graders. I think if you called up every parent of those kids and said, this is what I'm going to do on Thursday, I think more than half of them would go, no fucking way you're not doing that. I don't want my kid. It's not what I want you to. No, I don't want my kid taught that. I don't think you could. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm way off base here. Maybe I've got my head in the clouds like you've never seen. But I don't think you could win a majority of a single classroom that you want to go into, let alone all of third grade parents, let alone all of the parents of that elementary school, and let alone all the parents of all the elementary schools in that district. And if you couldn't, wouldn't that tell you that the majority of the people are against you forcing that into classrooms? It's not on the ballot what you're doing, what your particular group is. That's not on the ballot. What you do in the privacy of your own bedroom, that's not on the ballot. What's on the ballot is our children. And here's the second problem it solves. When you come into a principal, he can say, whoa, it's not even up to me. You can't get me fired. You can't bring a lawsuit. You have to go to the school board, and it has to be put before a public vote. It's not up to me anymore. Teachers, it's not up to them anymore. Counselors, not up to the coaches, not up to me anymore. Do you realize how many people that takes off the hook? They can simply look at you at groups and go, sorry, it's not up to me anymore. You have to go make your case to the people, and they have to vote on it. And if they're in line with you, then you can start doing this for the next school year. And I don't say leave that up to the school board of 12 people or whatever it is on a school board, because those 12 people can say, vote for what we're telling you, let us go into the schools and do this, or you're fired. No, I would not say leave that up to them. I'm saying that we've moved past this. If I'm right, if I'm correct in my assumption, intimidation and fear is how these things are being allowed to occur. Okay? To individuals, to a principal, a teacher, a counselor, a coach, or a school board. But you can't intimidate a town. You can't threaten the general population of a county with a lawsuit if they vote no. It lets the schools and the teachers and everybody who feels like their hands are tied, it lets them off the hook. I'm not telling you I know the mechanism in how to get things onto a ballot when it's not an election year, or I don't know how to do any of that. I'm completely lost. But I can tell you this is how it needs to go. And I never do that with you guys, ever. I never do that. I never say, well, here's what the problem is, and here's the solution. Everybody, listen to me. I am your Lord and Savior, and I've come to you with the answers. I've never done that. I always tell you I don't know. This one time, I'm telling you I believe I know. I think that it would definitely be an immediate decision all across this country, one way or the other, with some finality, yes or no, and you'd have the numbers to say. You'd have, if it's 50-50, and one side wins, or if it's a landslide, 99.9 said this and 0.1% said that, you'd know. Now you'd know. And everybody could stop holding their breath. Everybody could stop bending their knee to a lawsuit, to a woke culture, because the woke culture goes along with any group that feels marginalized. It doesn't matter who it is. They're like right with you. It's like, well, we'll follow them home and we'll get this guy fired. We'll find out where his wife works. We'll go over there and get her fired too. Well, if you work that way, which you have demonstrated, that's all you guys have done for the past like 4 or 5 years. We get it. We all understand. We got it. We know your tactics. We get it. We understand. I don't like it. I want to take that tactic away from you. I don't think that you should be operating that way. Now, I have thoughts about Disneyland and how they conduct their business. That's one thing. But you're talking about children. Yeah, now I'm not just going to sit by. I think that any decision for any group of any kind, whether it's Second Amendment, guns and rifles, any group to come into a school to push their agenda, their feelings, their personal preferences, should have to be cleared with the public before they can do it. Parents. Like I said, I don't think you'd ever win a county. I don't think you'd win a school district. I don't think you'd even win a classroom. I think very few classrooms are even at that point where the parents would side with you. And so I think they'd say pass. I think that parents would say pass. Let's just stick to English and math and history. Let's just stick to that. Let's not. No, I think the parents would pass on that. That's just me. And the reason it won't happen is because it exposes, if I'm right, well, if I'm wrong, it exposes me as an asshole. I'll have to live with that. But if I'm right, it exposes every group that is trying to do these things. It exposes their treachery. It exposes their intimidation. It exposes the fact that they're wrong, that they don't represent a majority of people, that the public does not want, and parents do not want this forced onto third graders. It exposes that everything they come in there and say, well, this is why we're doing it, and this is good, and this is right, and this needs to be heard. It proves all that's incorrect. Unless you're saying that the entire general population of a county that voted against you is incorrect. Oops. So it can't happen because of that. It won't. They'll find a way. They'd probably just go, if you're going to try to pass this law that parents and populations have to vote whether we get to go, then we will sue you. I think they'd use the same tactic right now to stop the whole thing turning into voting. If we want to turn these situations to voting of the people and voting of the parents, they would still use the same tactic right now of intimidation and wokeness and lawsuits to stop it from happening. We don't like you intimidating and lawsuits getting your way. Oh, yeah? Well, if you try to change it, we'll use intimidation and lawsuits to stop you. Well, that's what we're trying to stop, is that. Well, we're going to stop you from stopping us with the very thing you hate. That's not such a great leap, is it? If you did that and you lost, you'd have to shut up. If I did that and I lost, I'd have to shut up. Now, again, I don't know how many people are watching. I don't know if anybody can even tell. I can't see any numbers. I could be talking to an empty room right now. But this thing has bothered me so much recently that I'm about ready to go Al Pacino. If I turn on the news and I see one of these situations in a third grade classroom one more time, I will lose my mind. That's how I feel. I'm absolutely going to lose my mind. I can't, my brain swells with this kind of stuff. I don't get it. So I have slowly been piecing together why I'm upset. And I figured that out in part one. I think it's a preference. Why do we want to share that part of our lives? Why is that the biggest part of your life? And it's like the smallest part of most people's, and you don't walk around saying it. And it used to be a time when it was really kept private, and now you guys are front paging it. But even if that's the case, and you just want that to be the main thing you're known for is what you do in the bedroom, not what kind of a person you are. All right. How did you get in there? How did you get in the classroom to do this kind of stuff? How did we let that happen? And how can we stop it in the future, or put it in check in the future, or at least see if it's really the will of the people, or if it's the will of a small group of people that get their way? I don't know what the answer is, but I think it's voting on it. I think making the general population of people look at these groups, whatever groups they are, look at them and say, we approve of that. All of us do. There's 86% of us approve. You go on in that classroom and teach what you're going to teach. Or maybe we'd be sending a message to those groups. Look, 86% of us, there's 350,000 of us in this county. 86% of us said, stay out of the classroom. Wouldn't that be a clear message to stay out of the classroom? But right now, if someone says, I don't think most people approve of what you're doing. Oh, yes, they do. Oh, yes, we know most people approve of what we're doing. Prove it. Put your money where your mouth is, as we used to say from my generation. Put it to a vote. Make your case. Make your case out there. Make your case to 350,000 people in a county. Let them vote. And then I will abide by the decision, and so will you. That's it. All right, I've been doing this about 40 minutes, and like I said, I don't know if I'm preaching to the choir, and I don't know if it's an empty room and there's 3 people in there. Right? There could just be Tomash and Kid Brother Joey and Lion, who's so drunk on Crown Royal right now. There could be just 3 people in there screaming at me. I don't know. They didn't pull the plug on us, so guess I didn't go too far off the rails. I know this wasn't what you guys wanted on a Saturday night. And to be fair, we were supposed to be in Fontana for the big car show today, but it got rained out, and there were some other issues in my personal life that hit me, gave me a gut check moment about where I'm really at in the world today. That hit me, as they do all of you all the time. It's no different for me. And then this was just an overwhelming thing that I couldn't get out of my head, and I just needed someone to listen. It's just that simple. I just needed someone to listen. And like I said at the beginning of the program, sometimes you just need a friend. You call a buddy and say, hey, can I come over and hang out for a few minutes? I got to vent. I got to work some of this out. I got to say it out loud. Maybe that's all this was for me. I just needed to. You guys know I don't ever turn off comments. I don't ever ignore them. It's not how I operate. It's been 2 years. We've done hundreds of live streams, hundreds and hundreds. I've never done that once. I hope that tells you the level of seriousness that this is affecting me. And I don't even have kids in school right now, but I have grandchildren that are coming up the pipe. I have children in my neighborhood that are going through this kind of stuff right now. I don't know. I guess I just wanted to say what I had to say, and I needed someone to listen. That was it. So I got to go. Thank you guys. Whoever's here, thank you. If there's just 3 of you in here, thank you guys. And if you have anything that you want to tell me about tonight, just email it to me, genxdad@genxtalks.com. Be more than happy to hear your take on it. I guess if I don't get any emails, then nobody was listening or you hated it. But that's all I had. I got to go, you guys. For anybody that is here, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for having some patience with me tonight. And I apologize for the format tonight. It wasn't normally what we do. But I'm going to go, and I'll try to catch up with maybe some of you guys on Discord later if I can. And if not, have a good weekend. And